I wanted to ask you about General Conference. If you got to watch, what was your very favorite talk? There were so many good ones and 20 new temples announced. It was so exciting. We had a beautiful Easter weekend with the sunshine, and one of the speakers actually spoke about one of my favorite primary songs. Which one was it? I'll give you a hint. Do you know what this is? My family loves to collect rocks, and one of my favorite primary songs talks about a rock. Do you remember who spoke about a rock? Maybe this will help you to remember.
Speaking to his disciples, Jesus Christ taught of a wise man and a foolish man, recorded in Matthew chapter 7 of the New Testament. Many of you have heard the primary song, The Wise Man and the Foolish Man. If you have taken the time to compare the 4 verses in the song, you will find that verses 1 and 2 are very similar to verses 3 and 4. Both the wise man and the foolish man were building a house. They want to provide their families with a safe and comfortable home. They desire to live happily together forever as a family, just like you and me. The surrounding situation was the same. The rains came down and the floods came up. We sing it 6 times when we sing that song. The only difference is that the wise man built his house upon the rock, and the house stood still, whereas the foolish man built his house upon the sand, and his house washed away. Therefore, where our foundation is really matters, and this has a decisive effect on the outcome, ultimately and eternally. I hope and pray that we all will find and stay on the sure foundation as we establish our future life. We are reminded in Helaman chapter 5, verse 12. And now, my sons, remember that it is upon the rock of our Redeemer, who is Christ, the Son of God, that ye must build your foundation, that when the devil shall send forth his mighty winds, yea, his shafts in the whirlwind, yea, when all his hail and his mighty storm shall beat upon you, it shall have no power over you to drag you down to the gulf of misery and endless woe. Because of the rock upon which ye are built, which is a sure foundation, a foundation whereon if men build, they cannot fall. That is the promise from God. If we build our foundation on Jesus Christ, we cannot fall.
That's right. The wise man built his house upon a rock. I love that song. I love the hand actions and the rain comes down. I love that even the tiniest of our primary children can learn and memorize this song and sing it. So here is our sing-along with the bouncing ball. song, and I love thinking about how to build my life on Jesus Christ. He is the rock. And in our Come Follow Me this week, we had a scripture that kind of helped me think of that. In D&C section 30, verse 2, it says, he's talking to David Whitmer, and he said, you haven't been doing exactly what you should, but your mind has been on the things of the earth more than on the things of me, your maker. So when we think about building our life on Jesus Christ, our rock, we need to remember that our mind needs to be on Him, our maker. So when we are going about our day and thinking about all of the busy things that we have to get done, school and play and chores and family, we also need to keep our mind on Him. That's part of the covenant that we make when we're baptized, is that we will always remember Him. And that's one really important part of building our life on Him, building our house on the rock. So I hope you remember to try that this week. In the description of the video, I have a link to the bouncing ball so you can sing along. I also have a link to a fun cartoon about a couple of alligators who built houses. And there's one for you older kids would really enjoy, one that shows the ocean and talks about how the ocean works. So watch those links in the video, and I will see you next week.